Hello and welcome to another tutorial, and in this video I'll be explaining how I usually enhance my images for free without any external AI tools in Adobe Photoshop. So for this example, we're going to use this image I got from FreePic, and it's of this young man here smiling. And if I were to zoom in, I have duplicated the image in two places just so we see the before and after in real time. So if I zoom in, you see that it's kind of lacking vibrance in a way, the skin especially. And what I do is, for every image I use for my designs, whether it's flyer designs or social media designs, sport designs, this is how I go about it. So the first thing I usually do is I select the image I'm working with. So in this case, it's just going to be this one on the right. I then go to filter, camera raw filter, or you could just alternatively use the shortcut shift Ctrl A, or your Mac shift Command A. So that should open up the camera raw filter dialog box now, and I'm going to zoom in just a little bit so you see what we'll be working with here. So let me just zoom in here. So the first thing, you go to the basic tab, right? And what camera raw filter does, it helps you to color correct, helps you to fine tune your image. So in this case, I'm just going to increase the contrast. And if you're not sure what exactly happens when you move these dials, you could move it to the extreme right or the extreme left to see what happens. So for contrast here, it makes the darker areas darker and then the lighter areas lighter. So I'm just going to increase the contrast to around 12. Then for the highlights, I usually reduce the highlights, especially if I'm going to be adding my own highlights later on. And next, you could play with shadows and white and blacks. I'm just going to leave that. Then for texture, I'm just going to increase it a little bit so the texture of the skin comes out a little bit more. Clarity is optional. In certain scenarios you may use it. For this, I'm just going to use 1. And then we go to detail, and this is where I usually go to sharpen my image. So you see this tab called sharpening here. What it does is it sharpens details in your image. So I'm just going to try to zoom in closer so you see what happens when I sharpen. So I'm just going to drag this slider all the way, and if I drag it to the extreme right, you see that it's kind of picking up those little fine details in the face and the skin. And this is something you want if you have a design that's focused on like a model image or something like that. So in my case, in sport designs, I usually sharpen the images, especially when I'm showing faces and I want those textures on the original image. So once this is done, I usually just leave it like this. I could press Q so we see a before and an after here, and you see now there is more contrast on the right and more detail. I'm just going to accept it, and now this will suffice for many cases. Actually, if you are fine with this, you could leave it this way, but specifically now for dark skin tones, one way you could enhance this effect to bring more life and vibrance into those dark toned images is with your layer selected, you go to the layer adjustments panel here, so the third icon here, and then you select selective color. So for dark toned images, right, and then you clip it by clicking this icon here. So once it's clipped to this layer, by default we're going to be on the reds, and I just want you to move this cyan from the middle here a little bit to the left. And as I do that, you see it starts to bring a natural tone to it, like a lively tone to your image. And this is very useful when you feel like your original image is being muted in terms of color. Like now we can see the difference between our left image and our right image. You see, like there's more life to it. And optionally too, you could decide to paint like custom shadows and highlights on your image here, but I won't do that because this video is just to showcase how I usually treat my images to prepare them for compositions and everything. So yeah, this is just how I make my images pop a little bit more than they would if I didn't edit them. And I hope you find value in this, and if you do, please like, leave a comment below. If you'd like me to cover more topics, please let me know. I'm also working on a Photoshop course for beginners, where I'll try to show you how you can start with Photoshop and then start creating designs of your own and let your imagination run wild. So this is it for this video. I hope you appreciate it. I'll catch you in the next one.